America reminds me of someone. Black America reminds me of someone from a book that we totally rejected. Black America reminds me of Samson. Some of you have heard of Samson. All of you have heard of Samson. But for the few of you who have not, Samson was a Nazarite. Samson was a warrior. Samson was a man who repeatedly went to war with a group of people known as the Philistines. But when people talk about Samson, everyone wants to talk about the strength. They want to talk about the lion that he ripped apart with his bare hands. They want to talk about the 1,000 men he slaughtered with nothing but the jawbone of an ass. Samson, see, he wasn't just a man. He was a walking, breathing miracle, a one-man army, the ultimate shield for people who had forgotten how to fight for themselves. But Samson's problem wasn't the Philistine warriors that he battled on a daily basis. It wasn't the armies that the Philistines amassed to defeat him. It wasn't the chains that the Philistines led his people away in whenever the Israelites lost a battle. Samson's ultimate problem was that he fell in love with the very thing that was designed to destroy him. And Black America is Samson. Imagine for a second that you meet a man. Imagine that the man comes up to you and says, "Hey, you're just the one I've been waiting for." Imagine that the man comes up to you and says, "Hey, look, let's go through this door. And through this door, everything you've ever wanted will be at your disposal." The man has a suit, he has a soft voice, and he's holding the keys to the door. And he says, "All this is for you." He tells you that for a very long time, hundreds of years, the door has been locked, but he is the person who found the keys. He leads you in and tells you to make yourself comfortable, make yourself at home. He points to this feast that's on the table and says, "Eat. It's your time now." And because you have been standing outside for so long, so desperately wanting to be given access, you sit down, we start to get comfortable, and then you start thinking, man, this man must be my friend. But as you go to eat, you realize that the food on the table is fake. You look around the room and you realize that the windows are painted on. And when you turn around, all you hear is the click of the door as he slams it shut. Let that sink in. See, the open door wasn't an invitation for you. It wasn't an invitation to the proverbial party. The open door was the entrance to a holding cell that you've been tricked into believing was a seat at the table for so long. It was all a ruse. And just like Samson, when he fell in love with Delilah, you realized that it was nothing more than an intricate trap. If you know the story of Samson and Delilah, you'll know that Samson fell in love with this woman and he laid down with her. But as he laid down with her, he must have gave her some of that good, or she must have put it on him because he let his guard down and he fell asleep. And while he was sleeping, Delilah took the opportunity to cut off his hair, which was the source of his strength. Waking up weak For the first time in his life, Samson was shocked to see that there was a army of Philistines waiting outside Delilah's tent for him. And he simply did not have the strength to fight them off. They put Samson in chains. They led him around. They led him all the way back to their main city. And they chained Samson between two pillars. And they made fun of him. They said, Samson, if you're so strong, pull down these pillars and go free. Samson could only hear what they had to say, because before they chained Samson up, they had burned out his eyes. It was in that moment Samson lowered his head. He accepted his mistake and he prayed to his God and he said, Lord, give me strength and let me die with these Philistines. And in that moment, the Lord his God gave him the strength, and he was strong enough to pull down the pillars of Dagon, the Philistines' false god. And in that day, thousands of Philistines lost their life. I'm telling you today, Black America is Samson. We gave so much. We fought so valiantly. We sojourned all the way up from slavery to the doorway of freedom. The best kind of freedom a man or a woman could ever know, the freedom that you build yourself. But just as we were at the cusp of freedom, an old trickster came in, an old Delilah came in, an old Satan, the devil came in and told us, hey, everything you worked for, you don't got to work for it no more. You don't need that freedom that your ancestors and your forefathers died for you to have opportunity to obtain. As a matter of fact, you ain't got to ever work again. We gonna give it all to you. And just like Samson, we committed an unspeakable act with this newfound ally, with this newfound savior. We committed immorality with them. And in doing so, we begin to trust them. These are the allies. And because of that, we let our guard down. Because of that, we thought that we can trust them. And every now and then they would come through and they say, look, you ain't got to work. All we need you to do is this. All we need you to do is support the feminist movement. You ain't got to work. All we need you to do is to support the Latino rights movement. You ain't got to work. All we need you to do is support the LGBTQ movement. Then we need you to understand that the problem with you and the reason why you don't have the things you want, even though we've supposedly given you access, is that you have too many children. And so what we need you to do is go into the Planned Parenthood and call your numbers. You don't have to kill all your babies, but just enough to make your community manageable. See, if your women abort their babies, they have the freedom they need to pursue all the newfound opportunities that we're giving them. And ultimately, it will pay off because, hey, you can always have a baby in your 40s. We trusted that. We believed that. We laid our head in Delilah's lap. And just when we begin to trust them, guess what? They cut off our hair. And by cutting off our hair, they took our strength. And we woke up just like Samson, weak and afraid, feeble and unable to defend ourselves. This is where we are. This is where we are. Weak. Now we see ourselves being used once again. We're on the internet Some of us are even in the street defending the nonsense that we see unfolding in the streets of places like Minnesota. But there's something that is very different about this time when compared to the last time. There's something very unique about this time when it is compared to the last time. See, the last time we gave them George Floyd, a black man who was in the wrong place at the wrong time, doing the wrong thing, who found himself on the wrong side of a interaction with a police officer. The George Floyd we gave them led to massive accomplishments when it came to the different radical movements of America. The George Floyd we gave them led to something called the Summer of Love, where we saw cities all over America burn down in the name of equality, freedom, and freedom from oppression. But this time, we're seeing something different. See, this time, we said we wouldn't be tricked and duped into going to war for a cause that was of no benefit to us. And it was at that moment that the same liberal white man and woman who pumped you up, who once saw you as an integral part of his liberal socialist communist movement, realized that, hey, we might be in trouble. We can't convince the blacks to go along with us this time. But then something amazing happened. Renee Good was killed. And that really pissed people off. But people still weren't biting. They still weren't motivated to go out and destroy their major cities. But then Alex Preddy was killed. And Alex Preddy might just be the white George Floyd. We see people rioting. We see people destroying property. We see that people are ready to go out and fight with law enforcement. Even the federal government is making some serious changes because of the death of this white man. But ultimately, if you are an African American, what you see beyond all other things is that they don't need you anymore. They used to need images of you getting beat up or abused to make it make sense. They used to need images of you being beat up and abused to get the reaction from the public that they needed to further their cause. But now they have white martyrs. They don't need Martin Luther King anymore. They don't need Fred Hampton anymore. They don't need Malcolm X anymore. They don't need Sandra Bland anymore. They don't need Trayvon Martin anymore. They don't need Michael Brown anymore. They don't need Tamir Rice anymore. They no longer need the black martyr. And now they've simply cast you to the side. And it is business as usual without you. The one thing you had left to give to the white liberalism, socialist, communist movement no longer has any value. And what was that thing? That was your life. We gave them everything else. We gave them our economy. We gave them all our businesses. We gave them the Negro League. We gave them everything. We gave them our skilled labor. We even gave them our children as some sort of sacrifice for access or for a seat at their table. And when that wasn't good enough, we gave them our identity. We ain't Africans. We ain't this. We American. We FBA. And for a little while, it seemed like that was enough. But then they said, we're going to need a little bit more. And we started entering the streets of America like lambs to the slaughter for law enforcement. But now, even our lives aren't even worth enough. They said everything that gave you strength, everything that made you something, you've loaned it to everybody else, and now they're able to get more with what you gave them than you were able to get when it was yours. It's an absolutely sad and pathetic situation. If you look at this situation, it's dire. These people in Minnesota, the death of Alex Pretty is actually working as a unifying a unifying phenomenon among white folks. This white man died, and Donald Trump, who was staunch in his position, got on the phone with Tim Walz, who was staunch in his position, and now they talking and making nice. And now the local police department of Minnesota, is out putting boot to ass on protesters when before they wouldn't move a muscle on behalf of the federal government. Tom Homan is on his way to Minneapolis to lead ICE in continuing to remove illegal immigrants from the streets of Minnesota. And guess what? Tim Walz and Jacob Fry, they're welcoming him in with open arms. They're welcoming him in with open arms. All over the death of not a black man, not George Floyd, not Sandra Bland, not say her name in BLM, white Mr. Alex Pretty, not an illegal immigrant, not a Hispanic, a white man is the great unifying martyr of America. What strength, what power does Black America have left now? They don't care about you dying anymore because now it's gone back full circle. We've always said that the liberal white woman was the prize in America. That was the standard of everything. She died. They started to rally. They start waking up. Then the white man, who is truly the most important person in America, got killed. And it was like, hell no. This just ain't gonna work. And it seems to have brought them all to their senses. What do you think about that? It's amazing, isn't it? I want to play a clip really quick. And I'm gonna borrow this from my boy Black Conservative Perspective. But I want to show you guys how things have changed so rapidly, so drastically, so quickly. Now that a white man has been killed by ICE. See, the white woman wasn't enough. The stakes just wasn't high enough. But once that white man died, oh Lord, it was over. They showed you that they are exactly who you thought they were. They are exactly who you thought they were. They are putting belt to ass on the streets of Minnesota. Minneapolis PD. They're putting belt to ass over this white man. They're making peace with each other. They're cleaning up the streets. All because a white man got killed. But it's nothing that you didn't already know would happen. They just had to show you. For a while, they were able to hide it from you. But all things come to the light eventually. Let's check this video out. It's pretty amazing. Wait till you hear this black dude screaming and hollering as they whooping his ass. He watches this black guy screams and hollers as the white Minneapolis Police Department, who he thought was on his side against ICE and Border Patrol, are whooping his ass because the stuff they doing caused a white man to get killed. When it was Renee Good, it was cool. When it was George Floyd, fine. White man got killed. Man, they said, look, we about to stop this foolishness on both sides. Let's check this out. First, you're going to see Bill O'Reilly going crazy because now it's been revealed that these protests, these lies, these riots are actually funded by Chinese foreign agents. And then you're going to see what Minneapolis PD is doing now that they claim they couldn't do just a few days ago.
All right? You can debate videotape all day long. You can say whatever you want to say, but there has to be an overriding authority in this state. And there isn't. Did you see, Leland, and because you've been studying it like I have, one Minneapolis police officer protecting ICE against the demonstrators? Did you see one?
No, but that's not the FBI's job to investigate
The answer is no. The answer is no. You didn't see one because there wasn't one there. And this is a public safety issue with dead people. No local or state cops. None. By order of the governor and the mayor. That is insane.
Now, that may be insane, Bill, but you want Kash Patel to investigate the governor because he didn't order the police to protect ICE?
You bet I do.
That's the solution?
You bet not protecting ICE. If the FBI comes in and finds that the agents, the federal agents, one ICE, one Border Patrol, all right, were derelict in their duties or use malice, I want those people indicted. Clear? Are we clear? But on the same token, you have got two elected officials that could be charged with rebellion and insurrection under the U.S. Code 2383. This is a rebellion. That is why the people are dead.
Boy. So we got to talk about an interesting turn of events in Minneapolis, Minnesota, as chaos erupted outside of the Minnesota hotel that anarchists thought was holding Border Chief Greg Bovino, right? Because word on the street is that he is leaving Minneapolis. He's out. Tom Holman in. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in this video. But these extremists thought that Greg Bovino and other ICE officers, Border Patrol officers, were at this hotel, and they showed up to riot in the protest like they've been doing over the past 2 weeks or so. And this time they found out, right? And this is fascinating because we've covered before how Minneapolis police either don't show up at all or they show up really late, basically when all of the chaos is over, essentially leaving ICE and Border Patrol and federal officers out to dry, right? As these agents of chaos commit acts of violence, as they break into buildings, as they put the lives of federal officers in danger, okay? Minneapolis police says, hey, we're going to take our sweet little time showing up, right? If they show up at all, okay? And just yesterday, I covered a story about how you have federal officers outside of the buildings basically saying, where is the police, right? Where's the police? Where is local police? Because the Democrats have basically told them, hey, don't help ICE. And if you decide to help ICE, then show up really, really, really late, right? By the time it's over. That way we can say that we showed up, but we really didn't do anything. It seems as if that has changed, okay? And that is shocking these protesters who got arrested, right? Mass arrests occurred. Now, I'm not sure if they're actually going to be, charged and prosecuted, but they were arrested after they decided to do this again. Now, this comes as President Trump apparently had a conversation with Tim Sugar Walls and the Democrats including Jacob Frey, about what's happening in Minnesota, okay, and how to move forward, because, you know, people are dying. And I think a lot of people agree, hey, you know what?
Now, Jacob Frey, I don't know why people keep messing up his name. Jacob Frey and Tim Walz, they're in trouble. There's a high likelihood that they were involved, or at least aware of, a large amount of fraud that was taking place in Minnesota. So what do you think that conversation between Frey, Trump, and Walz sounded like? Do you think that maybe Trump said, look, we'll give you a break on whatever fraud we find if you let us come in and continue to deport illegal immigrants? See, white folks know how to get together and compromise over some shit. They have really good conflict resolution skills, unlike black people. It's a quid pro quo, a favor for a favor. You guys help us get that city under control. You guys let our agents come in and do what they need to do, so that we can do the job that our base voted for us to do, and we'll look the other way on a little bit of your fraud. We'll look the other way on a little bit of what you might have known about as far as things getting stolen and fraud taking place, and we'll make sure that you guys don't go to jail. I'm telling you, Walz and Frey, they let this happen. They let this happen until Trump was forced to call them. And in my opinion, this is a guess, give them immunity from whatever they find as far as the fraud is concerned. This is what I think happened, because that is the only thing, in my opinion, that could have made them allow what you see next to take place.
Right before these people could cause too much destruction and chaos. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Yeah, you're an American citizen, but being an American citizen only gave you protection from ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. It didn't give you protection from the Minneapolis PD, who was on top of this dude whooping his ass. Do you hear his voice? He sounds like he has truly been betrayed. Wait a minute. What are y'all doing? You guys are turning on me. You guys were just telling us it was okay for us to do this. But now all of a sudden, you guys are holding me accountable. Now all of a sudden, you guys are dogpiling me. They look super shocked. See, they don't realize that when white folks get on the quid pro quo, when they start finding common ground, when they start talking about a favor for a favor, boy, they'll start getting along fast enough, it'll make your head spin. And that's exactly what happened. Tim Walz and Jacob Frey unleashed the dogs of war, the Minneapolis PD, on these protesters. And you hear the white lady, get off of him, get off him. And she's realizing in that moment, wait a minute. Hold up, wait a minute. Let me put some pimping in it. She's realizing no one gives a fuck about what I think or what I have to say anymore. The white man is back in charge. He's back in business, boys. And that's what you forgot that you really need to know. Once they have a mutual interest, they know how to shut everybody's shit down and go back to business as usual. Let's keep watching this nigga get his ass whooped.
Nobody is resisting y'all bitch asses. You just wait. Look at this fat ass still standing there like a piece of shit. Told bitch. Piece of shit. Freedom of speech.
She on the ground.
Once again, people not understanding
Hey,
that freedom of speech does not mean freedom to riot and to commit acts.
the black man and his white liberal female master both on the ground getting handcuffed. See, because this the one who pumped him up to do it. See, the white liberal female, she the one who pumped his black ass up to do it, right? But now what? She can't do nothing for him. She laid on the ground. Baby, they handcuffing me too, baby. She can't do nothing for him. He was a fool. He was a fool like his father and his grandfather before him. This is what it all boils down to. Man, I'm telling you, Trump and Walls them hit them with the double Uno reverse KKK card, dude. All that shit y'all was talking about was, it's fascism, it's racism. And that wasn't that. That wasn't that. What this is something that's bigger than fascism, racism, and everything else. It's called white supremacy. And I don't even really believe in white supremacy like that, but what it really is white self-preservation. They're going to let you act up a little bit for a little while. But the minute they're not going at each other and they have a second to pay attention to you, you best believe it's going to be hell to pay.
Of chaos, right? To break into a whole.
Ain't that the f***ing law?
You don't see no white men on the ground.
Hey, I want to speak to Charles Adam.
Press.
Look. Unarmed. Look at him. Lord. Boy, look how they learned. Look how they know how to comply. Look how they know how to act. Look how they know how to act all of a sudden. My granny used to say, it's going to catch you on 11/20. I don't know what the hell that means, but I think this might be what it means. Look how they know how to act. I thought they was ready to go to war. I thought they were ready to go to war. Wasn't they talking about just yesterday, get your guns and hit the street and we about to kill everybody and ICE can't handle us? What happened to Kyle? Excuse me, has anyone seen Kyle? What happened to Kyle? The guy with the tattoo on his face who acted like he was ready to get cracking with ICE. What happened? I thought that they were asking the Minneapolis PD to come fight fight ICE on their behalf. But now the Minneapolis PD is whipping their ass. Go figure. Go flipping figure. Now ICE is now Minneapolis PD, the ones they thought were on their side, are in the streets whooping their ass.
Back up that way. Yep. Hey, back up this way. Oh, that way. So sorry. Yep.
Back behind the line, please.
Okay.
Back behind the line. See all the cops behind you? You're about to back into them. Back behind the line. Yeah, you're good.
Thank you.
Back here. Give me about 3 more feet, okay? Thank you.
Oh, wow. The police can ask you to back up and to give them some space while they're conducting arrest? Wait. Hold on now. Let this claim that people have a
wait. And the radicals who were so mad about Renee Good, they're complying. Guys, listen. I thought they were so enraged about Renee Good. I thought they were so enraged about Alex Pretty. I thought that they just, I'm so mad I could eat a whole elephant. Like, look out, radioactive man. I thought they were just pissed off to the point where they just could not. There's so much rage in me. That's what they were saying. Where's the rage? Where's Captain Inferno? Where's the rage? The rage is gone. The rage is wherever the thrill went. It's gone. And that's what I keep trying to tell everyone. And maybe I'm preaching to the choir because you guys are all really smart. This is all cosplay bullcrap. This is nothing but a bunch of cosplay bullcrap. These people do not give a damn about these people who got killed. These people do not give a damn about no immigrants. These people are socialist, radicalist, communist. And when they have an opportunity to launch a color revolution against the government, they're going to do it. Most of them are paid anyway. Once Bavino was gone, all the paid ones left. They say ain't no need to pay. We got rid of him. See, but I told y'all, Trump and ICE hit him with the double reverse Uno card. They faked him. Let's get Bavino out. Then they're going to let their guard down. And then on top of that, now that their terrorist networks have been discovered, the signal groups showing that they're operating like a paramilitary force with ranks and generals and medics and scouts and all that stuff. They know that they are very close to being brought up on insurrection charges. Their names have been doxxed. Understand that. Cam Higbee and these dudes, they've doxed these people's names. So now they're not in the street anymore. They were talking about ICE with no mask. They were putting ICE agents like whereabouts online, but Cam Higbee and them boys, they found their signal chats with their real names and they posted them all over Twitter, all over X. And look how the Red Sea of radical leftist lunatics dried up. So these are the motherfuckers right here who just wasn't getting paid. These are the ones right here who didn't get the memo. These are the ones who out here really thinking they making a difference. Where are the masks? Where's Antifa? Where's the ones with the mask on destroying property? And this is what everyone who's saying what I'm saying is trying to show everyone. Guys, look, these dudes, this is all acting. This is a color revolution. This is something to make you think that there's this huge movement in opposition to Trump, in opposition to the American government. But look where are they? Once their names hit the internet, they dried up. They dried up like you ain't hitting it right. How long are our people going to keep falling for this stupid shit? Letting ourselves be just made to look like idiots. Letting ourselves be made a fool out of. They done made a fool out you. Like my granny used to say. Black folks out there talking shit on the internet like they really, y'all really be believing this shit, huh? And we kept warning you, us black conservatives, the coons and the traitor. Bro, we're just warning you. We were just trying to warn you like, yo, they're taking advantage of you. They think you're dumb. And we think they're right because you're falling for every single trip they use. I know my camera's blurry, but y'all just got to focus on the message right now. But you fell for every single trick that they used. This was a total and complete psyop. I said that days ago. Did I not days ago say that this was a total and complete psyop? I told you. I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. And now look, they're getting arrested. Tomorrow, the streets of Minneapolis will be peaceful.
Right, a right to just interfere with police and law enforcement, right? That they can get as close as they want. And that it is peaceful.
Nah, the camera blurry because even I can see it.
Behavior. If you do not control, you will may be arrested or subject to other police action. Other police action could include the use of chemical agents, the use of less lethal devices, and/or crowd control tactics.
And right across the street, you have police officers letting anybody onto the property right now.
Wow.
This is the Spring Hill Suites. The activists are here. They use pots and pans.
Did I just see some kids out there?
Yeah. So you see that, you heard that. It's almost as if this was a choice, right? In regards to police not showing up to help ICE, right? It's almost as if Democrats just allowed these individuals to be agents of chaos, to harass ICE, to threaten ICE, to break into these buildings, and that they could have stopped this the whole time, right? They could have been there the whole time protecting ICE and preventing all of the chaos that we've seen on a nightly basis. It's almost as if a lot of this stuff is preventable, right? If Democrats actually cooperate with the federal government, this stuff is preventable, right? It's almost as if peace and law and order is possible with cooperation. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. So with that being said, I want to react to an interesting theory from Bill O'Reilly, who is super passionate about what's going on in this situation, where he is going to talk about who's funding all of this, because this is not organic, in my opinion. I think a lot of these people are funded by outside groups, maybe even foreign actors, in order to undermine the U.S. government. And I 100% think that's what's going on here. And you know, Democrats, ultimately, in my opinion, are colluding, and they would collude with foreign actors to undermine Trump.
Yeah. Listen, this is what's happening. And that's why I just keep telling people, like, it's just like when I tell people don't call themselves FBA, right? You keep running around thinking you cute, thinking you funny. And I hope the camera's better now, y'all. You keep running around thinking you cute, thinking your ass is funny. We FBA. All it takes is for one person amongst FBA, to do something radical or crazy, and they will be on the internet, scouring the internet for anybody calling themselves FBA, and your ass is going to be on a no-fly list. There used to be a thing called the Slave Theater in Harlem, New York. Everybody who ever attended that fucking theater is on the FBI's list of people that they need of special interest. This happens. So when I tell you, I'm not telling you because I don't want you to have funds and I don't want you to, have your little shits and giggles. That's not why I say that. I say that because you don't understand the gravity of the situations that you're dealing with. You don't understand the gravity of it. You think shit is just a game. Oh, it's all fun. I'm cosplaying a revolutionary. You ain't cosplaying no damn revolutionary. You got to be at work on Monday, fool. Fred Hampton didn't have no damn job.
Would collude with foreign actors to undermine Trump because that's how much they hate Trump.
Neville Roy Singham. He works with the Beijing government. He is funneling millions of dollars into the United States of America through 501s like Party for Socialism and Liberation, Democratic Socialists of America, Minnesota Immigration Rights Action Committee. There he is, okay? Connecticut-born, 71 years old, billionaire tech guy. He is funneling money here to these radical organizations who are then agitating professional people, communists mostly, because Singham's a communist, all right, to go in and foster rebellion. You heard that story reported? That is absolutely true. The man has been investigated by the FBI in the past, this Singham character, okay? This isn't some organic thing. This is a foreign power, Beijing, using this American citizen who lives openly in Shanghai in luxury, knowing that this man is funneling tens of millions, probably more, into this country to try to destroy the government. What the deuce is that? Where are you, New York Times? All right? That's the second part of the story. There's a local federal story, and there's the international story. And I've had it. You don't.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people have had it with.
Yeah, it's. You got to be pretty damn dumb to sit up and cheer and support a bunch of people trying to undermine your country. What do you think is going to happen if these people actually get their way? Like, I'm being real. What do you think is going to happen if these people get their way? You think they're going to give you a special seat at the Chinese table? No. Chinese people hate black people. Like, all the freedoms that you think you're going to enjoy, they're going to be gone. So you're like, oh, the American government is oppressive. Can you tell me what government is not? The American government is probably the least oppressive government in the world. Y'all love those Nordic countries, Denmark and the Netherlands. Bro, they got all types of little shit in those countries that you can't do, that you enjoy doing in America. One of them is talking shit to people over social media. Biden tried to institute some of that shit where they was arresting people for saying certain stuff on social media, but that stuff got done away with. The judges in America was like, hell no. But go to the Netherlands, go to the UK, all these places you love. I could say, hey, there's a bunch of terrorists in Islam. I could say that on YouTube here. If I was in the UK, they'll be at my door knocking, talking about you're trying to incite violence against people of Islamic descent. Just go look on YouTube. There's hundreds of videos. People literally getting arrested. They're like, oh, do you need to grab anything? Yeah, you are going to be arrested. Y'all keep talking about fascism and all this stuff. What part of the countries that you love? Oh, look at Sweden and all that. Bro, they're more fascist than anyone. They're more fascist than anyone because they're getting large amount of monies from these corporations. They're colluding with these corporations all day. And I'm not saying America is not, but America is there is significantly less collusion between America and the corporations than in these other countries because America has a robust economy. A lot of these countries don't got nothing. They have crap economies. So they have to collude with corporations just to survive. Denmark is sending Greenland a $600 million a year welfare payment. And that's as much as they can afford to send. But you know what they get access to? All the mineral rights and all that stuff. That's why they don't want the United States to come over there. Has nothing to do with the sovereignty of the the people of Greenland, dude. They don't give a shit about the people of Greenland. They don't care. They care about the mineral rights that they'll lose because they're the ones who get to sell the mineral rights to China. But they know if the United States comes over there and takes over the mineral rights, they won't have access to them to sell to anybody. This is all about the white man's money, dog. And if you're smart, you're going to make it about your money. Stop looking at this shit emotionally. Look at this objectively. It's all about the money. Go follow the money. Understand that. Understand that. You got Dodo. I want to switch real quick because we got another situation. We're going to leave that topic. Let's go over here where Dodo Bird, Ilhan Omar, the lady who's talking about defunding the Department of Homeland Security. I want you to understand something. When you guys hear this crap, it's just that. It's crap. It's crap. When you hear this stuff, it's crap. Why would this moron defund Homeland Security when Homeland Security funds the Secret Service, which is who runs her security detail? Why would she do that? You think she's gonna really be like, yeah, let's defund Homeland Security? They're not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it because of moments just like this that happened today.
I don't know.
Probably was anthrax.
I need a napkin. I need a napkin to go. No, we will. No. You need to go get checked. No, we will continue. These fucking assholes are not going to get away with it. You need to go get checked. No, I don't know.
And this is why the big back black women support her, because where's the Somalian women up there risking their life to get fucking killed or whatever if that guy had a gun? I'm telling you, Stop believing in altruism. Stop. These people aren't doing any of this stuff they're doing because they just love you and feel sorry for you. They're doing this because they're getting something out of it. Black women will support this lady because it's a bunch of big back bed wenches on her staff. And they running it down the line. Yeah, girl, Ilhan Omar. That's the seat at the table that they are comfortable with receiving. Even if it means selling everybody else out. You think that Ilhan Omar is ready to deal with her potential threats to her life head up on her own? She could act tough. We're not going to let these fucking assholes. No. So this nonsense, they're going to get rid of DHS. No, they won't. No, they won't. They won't. They'll say, let's get rid of DHS long enough for the dummies who follow them to go vote for them again. Yeah, soon as Ilhan Omar gets reelected, she's going to get rid of DHS. And they're going to say, okay, business as usual. That's what they do. We learned this from defund the police movement, didn't we? I must say the camera's looking really good now. But we learned this from the defund the police movement. They talked all that yin yang. Yeah, defund the police. As soon as Biden's old decrepit ass got elected, you're like, yo, stop talking about the defund the police shit. We ain't defunding no police. That was just for the dummies. That was just for the goofies and the lames. If that's what they need to hear for them to get in the booth to vote for us, tell them. As soon as they do it, stop saying it. They're clapping for this douchebag. Let's watch it one more time. This guy just seemed kind of drunk. He squirted right. But hey, you want me to tell you, bro? Look, I want y'all to look at this. If that was a gun, she would have been dead. I don't know if y'all saw that right at the beginning. That's when he squirted. He hit her he didn't even just it wasn't one stream. Bro did 2 bursts. Squirt, squirt. That was sending a message to her. That was somebody telling Ilhan, you're that close to being dead. I'm being real with you. If you guys could see that stream, I don't know what it is. We don't know. Probably water. But that was a message. That was a message to Ilhan Omar. You're that close to someone killing you. Because if that had been a gun, she would have been dead. He pumped it. Boom, boom. 2 pumps. That's 2 bullets. And then her slothful ass security, which she hired, or they give it to her, right? But they weren't ready for that. But this is what these people, they're gonna get what they're asking for. They're constantly radicalizing people, and they don't understand. When you feed a dog gunpowder, that dog is not gonna be loyal to you and turn on everybody else. It's gonna turn on anybody it perceives to be a threat at the moment. That is what these woke leftist radicals are. They're just a bunch of predacious dogs. They're going to turn on anybody who they feel is going against what they think is best. They will bite the hand that feeds them. Understand that. They will bite the hand that feeds them. They don't care because they believe that whatever they're fighting for is like a righteous cause. That's the whole issue. But nobody wants to accept the facts. No one wants to accept reality. I think the camera should be good. I'm still checking it. I'm still here with you guys. No one wants to accept the reality. This is not something to be taken lightly. Oh, yeah. This is not something to be taken lightly. Ooh. Okay, so yeah, the camera's looking good. Yeah, I just disconnected it and reconnected it. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. I'm getting a whole new setup. Flacco about to buy me a whole new setup. He said, man, I love what you do. You're so amazing. I want to buy you a whole streaming setup. I said, dang, Flacco, man, you really are. You ain't just a typical Dusty Tether, dude. You're a real brother, man. No, I'm just kidding. But that is actually an offer I got, though. You guys wouldn't believe it, but that is definitely an offer I got. Why does everybody want me to sell my soul these days? But so now we've handled Nomar. Ilhan Nomar. And I want to move on to something else that has been in the news. Did you guys see this? This dude Paul Birdsong. Oh. Do y'all know who Paul Birdsong is? Paul Birdsong is a light-skinned Puerto Rican who was saying he was the leader of the Black Panthers. I guess I don't know if that's in Philly or what, but yeah. So this guy Paul Birdsong basically makes a video telling everybody that the old ass decrepit Black Panthers of years ago have told him that him and his little fraudulent group of Black Panthers can no longer call themselves Black Panthers. Understand? So this guy was all in the street, yeah, about to get his ass thrown in jail. Yeah, if ICE come to me, I'm gonna put a hole in their chest the size of a window, safe light repair, safe light replace, all that stuff, only to be buzzed down by his demoted. He's Bavino now. He's Greg Bavino now. He only to be demoted and banned from using the name Black Panthers. But I'm gonna let you hear what he has to say. Then I'm gonna tell you what I think. Let's start there.
All power to the people. As everyone knows, I'm Paul Birdsong. I got a message from Aaron Dixon today.
Don't nobody know you, Paul.
They saying that he no longer supports us. That after he gave me orders to make a video saying that him and other members were coming, that he withdrew his support, and that he said that this situation is unimportant to him, even though my comrades have risked their lives and spent thousands of hours of their time and dollars in life standing behind a cause, you know.
Yes, they have.
He said he's going to make a statement saying no one has the right to call himself a Black Panther going forward. I told him to make sure that he put in that statement that he did, in fact, give us the right to call ourselves that, because I still have the messages where he did, just in case he doesn't. And I put in there also, make sure that you put in there that Emory Douglas did give us the right to wear that emblem, because I still have the messages where that happened too. But as it stands, because of that, because of me and my comrades risking our lives and all the heat that we went under, because of the counter-revolutionary practices, because we don't believe in Black nationalism, like Bobby Seale said in the video that I shared on my page earlier, that Black nationalism is acquiesce to racism, and that we don't stand like that we're internationalists and intercommunalists, just like Huey Newton said.
Yeah, they're communist, basically.
We will no longer identify with this flag. We will no longer identify ourselves as the Black Panther Party for self-defense. We're going to take OG.
Okay, so that was the end of that. That's what was on Twitter. You got enough to get the gist. So basically, these clowns are mad because the other clowns, the older clowns, the real Black Panther clowns, they told them they can't use their name. At first, they were like, yo, you guys got a little motion. So these old niggas got up and was like, oh, we gonna get to go over there and cosplay. Right? They looking for opportunity to be relevant. They like these old ass OG gang members in the hood in LA and shit. Anything that makes them feel relevant, they're down with it. So they're like, yeah, we support you. They was going to get their canes and walkers and go down to Philly and stuff, and down to Minneapolis and act the fool, put on their stuff, start strutting around like Shaft and acting tough, right? That's what they do. That's what they live for. But they got word from their white liberal overlords and was like, y'all better not take y'all Black ass out there trying to revive this Panther stuff. Understand, the Black Panthers were totally co-opted. Y'all saw the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, right? like the Black Panther Party was totally co-opted. That's what happened. And it was, and I don't even care if it was co-opted, because it was nothing but a communist movement anyway. So if they weren't taking orders from the white man, they were just going to be taking orders from the white man in Russia or the Chinese man, the communist countries. I keep telling you guys, they used to walk around with this book. Believe me, you might not want to believe it, but they used to walk around with this book. It was banned in America at one point, but it was called the Little Red Book, because they wouldn't tell you the name of it, but it was a book written by a communist, the communist leader of China, the guy who was responsible, Mao Zedong, the guy who was responsible for the death of 20 million of his own people. That's how goofy these dudes was. This is the book. It was a Little Red Book. I've seen it, actually. I've never read it, but I've seen it. I might buy a copy just to read through it to see what it says. I got my Scott Jennings book too. I read 3 chapters of that. I'm gonna finish that when I go somewhere this weekend. But yeah, this Little Red Book. The Black Panthers were taking like lessons and orders, if you ask me, from a communist dictator, Mao Zedong. And while they were listening to him, his goofy, they're so goofy that while they were listening to him, he was driving this country into the ground so bad that 20 million people died from starvation. And if you don't believe me, the people who lost their brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, they're still alive. The people who were, Mao Zedong basically turned his entire country into slaves. That's the crazy part. Mao Zedong basically turned his entire country into a bunch of slaves, which is wild to me. And the Panthers were like, yeah, this is the guy we're going to listen to. They don't know that they were just goofy. They were just goofy. They didn't know if they were coming or going. Boy, you grew up on a damn farm and you didn't got your ass to the city, and now you listen to the communist bullcrap. But this is where we were. Let me see. So I want to look up the years of the Chinese famine. The Great Chinese Famine. Okay, so this makes sense. So when did the Great Chinese Famine occur? The Great Chinese Famine, which was the world's largest, the greatest famine in the history of the world, right? The history of the world. It took place from when? 1959. I'm gonna show y'all so y'all can see too. It took place from 1959. Wait, 40 years ago, China was in the middle of the world's largest famine between the spring of 1959 and the end of 1961. So this is like 2 years, right? 2 years. 30 million Chinese people starved to death, and about the same number of babies died or were postponed. The famine had overwhelmingly ideological causes, right? You know what that means? The famine wasn't caused by, oh, they just didn't have enough food and the farms weren't growing crops. It was caused by bad decision making by this guy, Mao Zedong. Now, when were the Panthers cracking? The 50s, the 60s, right? 60s, right? So this is how smart these guys are. And I don't want to get too much in the weeds. This is how intelligent these guys are. Of all the dictators they could have taken advice from, of all the dictators in the world at this time that they could have taken advice from, these goofballs, these goofs, chose to take lessons from a dude who literally, right in that timeline, caused the starvation of 30 million people died. Think about that. I'm sorry, but if I'm even being associated with 30 million people dying, I'm going to tell you, don't listen to me. Just don't even, don't pay attention to nothing I got to say. 30 million people. Understand that. Now look, the largest famine in human history, it was only 2 years long, although you talk about Africa, although drought was a contributory factor, this was largely a man-made catastrophe for which Mao Zedong bears the greatest responsibility. We will never know the precise number of casualties, but the best demographic reconstructions indicate about 30 million dead. 2 generations later, China is yet to openly examine the causes and consequences of the famine, because the Chinese Communist Party, the party that Mao Zedong founded, is still in charge of China. But basically, the farmers and some of the like military people, they said, fuck you, screw you. We're not about to just die over here because you're dumb. They kind of took control of a part of the government. That's why if you go to China, they have 2 armies. One is controlled by the Communist Chinese Party. The other is like totally controlled by like oligarchs. China has 2 armies. That's why people say, oh, Chinese can beat up America. They have an army that's split, that's really built up to fight each other. Xi Jinping rules over that just for the sake of like international competitiveness. But ultimately, these guys build an army to kind of protect themselves from Mao Zedong and his army, his Red Army, right? So yeah, this guy's an idiot. And they and let me tell you, this is so stupid. This is the kind of dumb stuff that Mao Zedong, where if someone handed me that book and I read about this guy, I'd have been like, I'm not listening to him. One of the things he did was so they were growing crops, right? And Mao Zedong was like, oh, the yields of the crops aren't as high as they should be because the sparrows, the little bird sparrows, are like eating all of the crops. They're eating the produce, right? So he tells the people in China, hey, if you see a sparrow, kill it. If you see that little bird, just kill it. And there was like, so people took the orders of their leader, and they were like, anytime they would see a sparrow, they would kill it. They'd go out and hunt sparrows and catch them in nets and kill them. Well, the problem was the sparrows were eating the little bugs called locusts. Sometimes they're huge. They're like huge grasshoppers. Locusts destroy crops like in a matter of like minutes. Locusts will land on a crop and they'll eat for like 10 minutes. They'll come up and the whole crop will be gone. Like acres and acres of crops will be gone, right? The sparrows ate the locust. So when they killed all the sparrows, there was nothing to kill and drive down the numbers of the locusts. So the sparrows all died and the locusts just went crazy on the farms of China, destroyed tons and tons and tons and tons of agriculture. And that's one of the reasons that's one of the things that caused the famine. You dummy, you killed the sparrow, which was the apex predator of the locust. It was like that was their main food source, and then the locust just came and took you out. And guess what? This is the craziest thing too. The reason why they can't find how many people actually died is because Mao made them melt down the bodies of their family members and stuff that died in the fields and use the bodies for fertilizer for the crops. So to this day, if you eat like produce and shit from China, you're still going to get like some little DNA from some like dead Chinese person in your food, in your potatoes and onions and shit. These are just interesting things I read up on a long time ago. But let me get these super chat. Well, it's just one. Thank you, Sucker Season LA, my brother from another mother, for the $5 holler. Guys, don't be shy about contributing to the channel. You know it is greatly appreciated. So we covered these goofy Black Panthers. I'm telling you guys, don't let these people trick you out of your position. Don't let these people are not leaders. Leaders have to be honest. And you know, like me, I there's some like historical figures I like. I love me some Malcolm X and stuff, but I have to look at things like holistically, right? Like I like Malcolm X, but I also think Malcolm X was on some hoe shit. Like he was the natural predecessor or not predecessor. He was the natural successor of Elijah Muhammad, right? But bro got so mad about what was going on with Elijah Muhammad having all these wives, which was why you worried about what another man does with his penis. Plus, you're in Islam, which promotes or encourages, right, polygamy. Malcolm X was so mad, he like split from the Nation of Islam, started his own thing, kind of just went at Elijah Muhammad and stuff. And it was like, Malcolm, you could have just waited for Elijah Muhammad to die, took over the entire Nation of Islam, and then fashioned it into whatever you wanted to be. I will always say that Malcolm X should have simply been patient and not been so angry. And you can't convince me that a little bit of what he did wasn't some egotism shit. Like he was salty about, Elijah Muhammad like silencing him and stuff. I get it, he was pissed. He was pissy, basically. So yeah, there's always that factor that you have to like take into consideration. But I still love me some Malcolm X, but I just got to be real about the situation. And that's the problem. In the Black community, we just have way too many sacred cows. We just have way too many people who they say nobody can talk about. You can't discuss this person. Man, you could discuss anybody. Hell, you could discuss me, bro. Like, I don't care. I ain't no sacred cow. I'm a grown-ass man, dog. If I do something that I got to be ashamed of, well, guess what? I should have never did the shit. My son, my brother. Hey, I haven't heard from you in a minute. I did see this comment earlier. Ilhan will be in cuffs soon. Thank you. Thank you for the $5 holler, guys. Appreciate it so much. What is this? Look up Richard Aoki. FBI records reveal that Aoki had been a government informant for 15 years, starting in 1961. I think he even helped introduce the coloring book. The coloring book. Like I always tell people about the Black Panther coloring book situation. That was actually drawn and written by Akinsanya Cambone. He's a Panther. He was part of the Central Park 5 or whatever. I mean, the Sacramento 5 or 7 or something like that. They were on death row. He lives right here in Long Beach. His art studio's in Long Beach. I've literally talked to him, met him, seen the original coloring book that he made. That guy, I'm not going to tell you everything he told me, but it was some effed up stuff that Huey P. Newton them tried to do to that dude once the FBI caught wind of the coloring book, and they was scared that the Panthers got scared that the FBI was going to come down on them about the coloring book. They tried to do some foul shit to my boy. I ain't gonna lie to you. He told me about it, but I'm not gonna. He never told me I couldn't tell the story, but I'm not gonna tell it. But it is like you guys, what you don't realize is when you're talking to me, you're not talking to somebody just spouting off. I've been in the room with these people over and over and over and over and over and over and literally heard the things they say, And a lot of times with these old men, they'll say one thing in public, they say something else behind closed doors. And I'm not going to repeat what was said behind closed doors, but I'm going to just tell you, this is a warning. Just don't be getting involved in that type of stuff, man. Take care of your family, get you some money, marry you a beautiful woman who is fine, fit, and submissive and sweet, and you're going to be good. You're going to be good. When you look at those dudes like Paul Birdsong and stuff, dude, these are just losers, bro. At the end of the day, these are dudes you wouldn't even hang around with if you live next door to them. Like, they don't got nothing else to do. You damn near 30-something, 40-something running around the country trying to play tough. Come on, dude. You want me to tell you what would be better? Let me tell you something. You want me to tell you it'd be better than the Black Panthers coming back to life? Why don't they start a security company? Why don't they start a security company? They can run around all over the country legally getting paid. This is the same thing as that stupid what was it called? The not effing around. It was the NFA. Was it the NFA? What was it called? Was it NFA? Oh, NFC. I think it was called NFC. Yeah, that was goofy. Is that Jam Master J dude still in jail? Dude was a DJ and turned into a soldier. And the FBI walked up, snatched his ass by his hair, and dragged his ass off to the clink. But now I guess now they are BLM 757. See, this is just a revolving door of goofiness. NFAC, okay, NFAC. All right, not fucking around coalition. Yeah. That was a cool name though. But this is a revolving door of goofiness. Yeah, Grandmaster J, my bad. Grandmaster Flash. But this is a revolving door of goofiness. Now they're BLM 757. So they can't submit to the elderly Black Panthers, so they choose to be slaves to the radical feminist leaders of BLM. And like this guy's like, oh yeah, we're doing this. And he acts like he's like this history aficionado, right? But how you know the history from 50, 60 years ago, but don't know the history from 50, 60 weeks ago, where Patrice Cullors was just found to be like, have taken like all this money that was meant for the Black community and just spent it building an amazing, quite impressive real estate portfolio. These guys are goofy, man. I'm not putting myself under that. All that money she stole. These guys are goofy. This is all a psyop. It's all a grift. It's like these Black pastors. They all trying to get a piece. Hey, it's like don't knock no pork chop off of my plate, and I won't knock one off yours. They're all cool with each other grifting. As long as you don't mess up my grift, I won't mess up your grift. That's it. These people are just absolutely ridiculous. Goofy is too nice of a word, really. But yeah, I just don't know. I just don't even know what else to say. But so you guys want to cover this one where this deranged liberal nurse is fired? This deranged liberal nurse is fired for a crazy rant that she did. I love it. I love these stories of when people get fired for just going crazy about political stuff and then telling people their job. Just stupid. Let's see what this is. We're exploring right now, guys.
Very happy to see you. I know you have a new podcast, The Riley Gaines Show. And so thank you. And you brought a beautiful baby and your lovely husband too. So thank you so much for joining. And why don't you kick us off?
Absolutely. Well, thank you. First and foremost, congratulations to you. Being a girl mom will change your life in the best way possible. So excited you get to shop all the pink and the frilly and the bows.
So Usha Vance is pregnant. Caroline Leavitt is pregnant. Katie Miller is pregnant. That's 3 high-profile MAGA women who recently announced pregnancies. I know MAGA wants some positive news, and babies seem positive. Who doesn't love babies? But this feels very calculated and very intentional. This party wants to push pregnancy and birth on women. It's part of their anti-abortion, pro-family crusade.
You know what? It really does get easier over time. You're right. Thank you so much for coming over here. I know that everyone says that you're not supposed to get this during pregnancy, but first of all, it's early. And I've been doing this. My body doesn't know any different, and I bounce back so quickly.
Women are making fun of Caroline Leavitt because they think she's getting Botox and filler while she's pregnant. Of course, we can all see the irony here because I thought it was just a fetus. Like, you guys are perfectly fine with a woman choosing to end her pregnancy at any time for any reason, even if she just doesn't feel like being pregnant because it's just a clump of cells. But suddenly you're horrified if you think somebody is getting Botox and filler while they're pregnant. Why would that be a problem if you believe that it's not a human being?
As a labor and delivery nurse, it gives me great joy to wish Caroline Leavitt a 4th degree tear. I hope that you fucking rip from bow to stern, and never shit normally again. You
boy. So we got to talk about Trump administration.
Bruh. Why would you even say something like that? Why would you say something like that? I hope you rip bow to stern and never poop normally. I don't understand why these people have so much anger towards people who want to have children. I mean, these people are off their noodle. They're mad. You can't win with these people. I keep telling you guys, you can't win with these people. No matter what you do, they're going to find a reason to have a problem with it. Now they're like, you're having too many babies. The Islamics, they're over here having 3, 4, 5 kids by 5 different women. But if a black woman or a white woman wants to have a baby, they're like, I hope you die. Like, what the hell is that? What the hell is that? Why do they hate childbirth so much? It's psychosis, guys. It's psychosis. And they'll try to lure you in. Yeah, don't you want free health care? Yeah, don't you want your college loans forgiven? Yeah, all you gotta do is sacrifice your baby. That's literally what I hear. When you cut past all the fluff and the bullshit, sacrifice your babies to the god of fucking socialism so you can get some free shit. Deranged. So this lady ended up, I think, getting fired.
People saying, who's next in line? Nobody's next in line. It's Caroline. She can do everything. She did this, by the way, during the Trump campaign. She was pregnant and delivered her son, Nico, and then was back to work within a couple of days on television, fighting to ensure that President Trump got elected. But she's amazing. And listen, we love babies. President Trump loves babies. He has really fostered the most pro-family, pro-child environment, I think, in the White House. And certainly I can speak to our campaign offices. But, you know, back whenever he was running for president in 2024, you would show up at the campaign offices. People would have their kids there a lot of times, myself included, because he understood that it was important for people to be able to spend time with their families as well as get their job done. And you go to the White House, Susie Wiles talked about this when I interviewed her back in the spring. She said, look, we try to schedule staff meetings so that the parents have an opportunity to maybe drop their kids at school in the morning, wake their children up, spend that quality time with them, because we understand how important it is. But from the perspective of what he's done as president, this president has also shown how much he loves babies. Obviously, he's the most pro-life president in American history.
Yeah, man, I'm literally, honestly, it's going to be hard to make me have a problem with Trump, because it's like he's just a family dude. I mean, you can say what you want about this guy, but all his kids are doing fine. Donald Trump's son ain't boning his other son's wife after he dies and then getting her hooked on crack. Like, what's the other one? The guy whose son killed him in LA, the actor, the director. Yeah, that whole situation. Like, you don't see Trump's kids doing that. You don't see Trump's kids doing that. I just read an article about Barron Trump, like, saving one of his friends' life who was in another state or country or something, and he like hit the cops up like, hey, something's not right about this. And they come and like somebody was trying to like kill her, right? Like, I'm gonna err on the side of caution with that guy being president versus all the weirdos. Like, you're wishing death on a lady, you're wishing death on a woman because you don't agree with her political beliefs. This is nuts, man. These people are nuts.
Video posted by a labor and delivery nurse is spreading far beyond Boca Raton tonight, and what she said is now costing her her career.
And it took just hours for city leaders and hospital executives to step in.
CBS 12 News reporter Katie Benty is live outside the Baptist Health Boca Raton Regional Hospital with those details. Katie?
Liz, Jim, the video at the center of this story is graphic, so we did censor most of it. But officials say what you're about to hear is what cost a Boca Raton nurse her job.
I hope that you rip from bow to stern and never normally again. You.
The woman in the video is Lexi Lawler, a now former labor and delivery nurse at Baptist.
Sounds like a porn star name.
Health Boca Raton Regional Hospital. Her comments were directed at White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, who recently announced she's pregnant with her second child.
As a labor and delivery nurse, it gives me great joy to wish Caroline Leavitt a 4th-degree tear.
A 4th-degree tear, one of the most severe childbirth injuries. I asked people there.
Wow, that is insane. That is absolutely insane. So you are a labor and delivery nurse, and you're basically wishing the worst on another woman who is about to give birth. Now, again, these are people who are working in the medical field, and you would think they'd be able to keep their political ideology out of their profession, right? This is why I lost herself a job.
Especially if it's a labor and delivery nurse, like I'm trusting.
Right, not with that video out on the internet, right? No way. It's not happening.
Their take on the video.
Especially if it's a labor and delivery nurse, like I'm trusting you with one of the most sacred moments of my life. I would definitely be very uncomfortable.
The video was later set to private, but not before it got clicks. The Libs of TikTok account reposted along with a photo that appears to show Lawler wearing a shirt with a political message about President Donald Trump. Boca Raton's mayor also weighing in, calling the comments disgusting and that Lawler is no longer employed. Baptist Health confirming that decision, telling CBS 12 News the comments do not reflect its values and that there is no place in healthcare for language or behavior that calls into question a caregiver's ability to provide compassionate, unbiased care.
I mean, everyone has social media, everyone has a technological device, you know, and when you have a career, I think it's even more important for you to be conscientious of what you say.
The hospital added that while personal opinions are protected, professional standards are not. Now, as of tonight, Lawler has not commented publicly to this backlash, and her accounts remain private. Live in Boca Raton, I'm Katie Benti, CBS 12 News.
Wow.
She never even apologized. She never apologized, never said, you know, I was just tripping, I was just messing around. They really feel like this. These people really feel like this. Could you imagine being at the mercy of this lady with your baby? Man, I wouldn't be surprised if your baby came up dead messing around with this chick. Oh, I don't know what happened. Whole time she done did something to your damn baby. Yeah, this chick, right? Chill, boy. Y'all better be careful out here with these crazy. You will never hear a conservative nurse saying no shit like that, no matter who you voted for or who you support. Lady, it's a baby. The baby ain't did nothing. And this woman is doing her job. She's doing her job. Most of these people are doing their job. If they got a paycheck to work for the other side, they'll be over there working. Because that's how they feed their children. But instead of just like being normal, these people are just like, my entire identity has to be wrapped up in my political views and stuff. These people are in full-blown psychosis, period. But yeah, so guys, listen, I gotta go pick up the youngster from volleyball practice. I'll talk to you guys later. It was beautiful being in this room with y'all tonight. It was just a good show. Really good show. Give me some feedback in the comments, what you like, what you hated, what you think we should do next time. I released two videos yesterday. Go check those videos out. They're actually really good. I might have messed up on the title and the thumbnails of them, but go check them out. They're really informative. What did my brother say? Any child that had any complications during her time as a nurse will be coming out ASAP. She's crazy. And that's the crazy part. She's in Boca Raton. That's in Florida, I believe, where you get a lot of conservative people. So I wouldn't be surprised if she was doing some crazy stuff. Man, your crazy ass done left already. Bro, I've been up here an hour and a half. Azaziel, you came late, my brother. Go ahead and put something in the collection plate for your sins, nigga. No, I'm just kidding. And I love going live with y'all. I'm probably never going to stop going live, but we're going to have a lot of content coming up, man. I'm getting a lot of encouragement from my boys, my social media homies. Yeah, so expect a lot. Expect big things. So thank y'all so much for watching us. I appreciate everything you do for me in the channel. And until the next time, take care of yourselves. But most importantly, please take care of not your nurses, of one another. And stay away from crazy liberal nurses in Boca Raton.